Thank you so much. My name is Kato Gilbert Bitariho, and I want to welcome you today to Civic Space. Today we dive into a timely discussion about a number of issues happening in this country, that is generational clash towards the 2026 elections. And we ask ourselves different questions. Does age matter in leadership? We're here at Civic Space TV. This sets up and gives us a time to assume balance and of a structure of neutrality and space for you panelists to bring out your diverse ideas and matters to the world and fellow young people. Today I have a gallant team within studios, and I will not use any particular order, but right from where I am, we shall go like this and have them introduce themselves and tell us who they are, and then we shall continue with the conversation. Over to you, my dear panelists, beginning with the lady to break the ice for us.
Ladies first.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, first of all, Mr. Moderator. To the viewers and the listeners, my name is Precious Nkurunziza, and I am honored to be here to discuss such an interesting and insightful topic. And of course, I'm so much enthusiastic, and I am waiting, very optimistic, and waiting to listen in from my fellow panelists. Thank you so much.
Okay, to the gentleman.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Gilbert. My name is Aineplani Major, the 21st Guild President, Kampala International University main campus. And I am the author of The Winds of Change and a New Uganda. I am so much honored to be here this afternoon to digest the topic about the generation clash towards the 2026 elections. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Abigaba, and I'm a law student at Uganda Christian University. And my take on the topic is going to be an interesting one, so I guarantee you will be interested.
Yes.
Thank you so much, our moderator. My name is Derrick Mwanje, the former Guild Prime Minister of Internationnal University. I am here to discuss an interesting topic about the age. Does age matter when you're heading to the 2026 elections? I'm here to discuss it, and by the end of the show, I think people will get my stand.
Thank you so much. Everyone is keeping cards to themselves. They want to unfold when the time comes. But today alone, we saw, I think, the cover page of Daily Monitor mentioning people who are daring to dream. And most of these are young people. And over the past weeks and months, we've seen people post on social media about the old people coming up and asking, what do these old people want? But now things seem to be changing, and we see a mix of things. A mix of age in every sector, a mix of people coming in at different ages to take up these positions in this country. And we're headed to the 2026 election, which is a national election that will give us the new leaders, to give us the new Uganda like he talks about. And the biggest question here is, how do you perceive the current generational dynamics in Uganda's political leadership? Because we want to see what's happening currently. Is it that young people are now awakening to see something new they haven't seen? Or is how things have been just because we existed yesterday and we've just seen them for the first time? And these are the questions we want to go to and really ask ourselves. But before we go to maybe to that, I know every one of us has come with something they prepared and say, now, when I reach here, this is what we want to begin on. And maybe you have something burning and you are enthusiastic about it. But as you address this question and tell us what exactly you came to unfold about this topic, let's all answer this question together. I'll begin with you, Derrick. What do you think is this is happening on this generational dynamics happening in this country currently? What do you perceive of it?
Thank you so much, moderator. The way I perceive the generation clash when it comes to age, as our topic is, it's like I'm seeing new young people who are aspiring to be our next great leaders. But on a sad note, we are seeing that our elders, the experienced leaders, they don't want to let the ball to the young leaders, being worried about what will happen next, right? So the way I perceive the topic is that age matters a lot. However, when it comes to a country like Uganda, we will go beyond the age. We will look at the competence, look at the vision, we will look at the ability, the integrity in that person. Because at the end of the day, age is just a number. It's just a number, but you may find a young leader having very good and fresh thoughts, But when it comes to the old person, is just thinking of things of the 19th century, yet we are in the 20th century. So my perception on that topic is that let's have all leaders, the today experienced one and then the fresh ideas to make our government look very, I'll not make it to be perfect, but I'll tell our viewers to make it like, we make it equal when it comes
Inclusive.
to, yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Derrick. Faye.
Yes.
Derrick says it's time for the old people to hand over the ball and give it to the young people. What do you perceive of this situation?
It's a hot take, but from my perspective, the question is, are the young people ready to receive the positions? Are they ready to take over from the experienced leaders, right? And from my point of view, I feel like both of them, both the young and the old, the intentions, that's where we are coming from. The intentions of the young are, I'd say they are a bit too emotional in the cause. They want power, and yes, I support them to take power, but do they have an actual cause? Where do they stand? Most of them are rallying behind, we want change. But when you ask them for a definition of change or how they are going to create this change, very few of them have a solid plan. And while the older ones are hogging power, yes, I feel like they have better experience as of now, like given our current generation of tomorrow's leaders. So I'm not sure if the young ones are ready to take over.
Okay, so she speaks of readiness, preparedness of the young people to take on what they're coming for. And she begins with a question, are the young people ready for what they want? This is where the man with the name that suggests something comes in. Aineplani. So Aineplani, what do you perceive of this situation, and which plan do you have for this? You think what she says because she thinks young people are not prepared, and then we have this group of people who are experienced, have been in the system, they have played the game, probably they know the rules better. Do we have to maintain this and go on with it? We have to bring on this new energy. What do you perceive of it as a person?
Okay, thank you so much. And due to the fact that we are talking about the generational clash, I would maybe first want us to understand the real concept of the generations we've had. And one, we have the generation of the traditionalists. Actually, that generation stopped in 1945, and our beloved president was born in 1944. So I think he also belongs to the traditionalists. Then after him, I think we go to the baby boomers. Then we have Generation X. Then after Generation X to the millennials. Then after the millennials to Generation Z. And in 2013, we begin from Generation Alpha.
Yeah.
So these different generations, as I've mentioned them, they have different perspectives. They have different texts. They have the way they handle things differently. And Uganda is one of the youngest countries in the whole world, actually if not the second youngest country in the whole world, with the youngest population, 77% being the young people, below 35 years of age. Meaning Uganda has the largest number of young people, more than the old people. And we have a number above 16%, they are 60 years and above. So what do we get from that status quo? Meaning the young people are more many in Uganda compared to the rest of the population. And in the world, we have it in history that Captain Melvin Valentine Stresser became a president at 25 years, actually 3 days after his birthday in 1992. He was, in history, in books, he's the youngest president we've had at that age. And of current, we have also the youngest currently, who is the president, Ibrahim, His Excellency. Ibrahim Traore at 37 years of age. I'm bringing it to you that age is just a number. And then we've had, currently, we have His Excellency Paul Biya, he's the president of Cameroon, at 92 years. So there is a difference. And in Uganda, still we have it in history, Proscovia became an MP at 19 years. Proscovia or remote, 19 years. She was from Katakwi. She became an MP at 19 years. And currently, we have in Parliament Helen Wandera. Helen Wandera, she's from Abusia, and she's now making 28 years because she was born in 1997.
If I maybe don't not to cut you
So
short.
first wait, now I am comparing the number. You see, we have the people who are old, they are serving, and we have the people who are young, they are also serving. So in my own perspective, age is a mere number. And we need to differentiate between age, I mean biology and ideology. So to me, I do not focus on the number, but rather I focus on the vision, the integrity of the person, and the ideology the person is carrying.
Thank you so
You
much.
may be young, but ideologically
you
not
have the
oriented.
ideas and
Yes.
the
You may be
plan.
old, and then maybe as we move on, I will bring in the concept of knowledge versus wisdom.
Okay.
Because a young person cannot have wisdom.
Thank you. He ends with something that talks about, actually when he was speaking, I felt like he was telling us that yes, it's time for young people. They have done it in history. They are doing it already. So there's nothing new we are seeing in Uganda. But he ends by telling us that it comes to now the idea of a person who is coming on board. When he talks of Proscovia, there aren't many of them who did that at that age. So it means that there's something special these people who are coming on board had. Like he talks of people being prepared and not maybe coming for something they're not ready for. And here, that's when you come in, Precious. We have had all these people, these fellow panelists have told us. You've heard from Derrick, Faye has told us, and the plan speaks of history about this scenario. But let's talk about this perception of Uganda in a country that has probably one of the oldest presidents on the continent of Africa, and having people now who are coming in take over leadership from his line, but also young people also coming in large numbers. How do you perceive of that in a country like Uganda?
Okay, thank you so much. And I won't differ from what the previous speakers have shared. But my perspective and how I perceive the whole drama, actually, it's more of a drama and a charade that we are pulling off, yeah? Like she said, most of the people of our generation, they are emotional, yeah? We are going to read a message to react, not to understand.
Exactly.
And this is where the part of ideology that the president spoke about, yeah? So there is no way just going to come and start overreacting. You don't know what is in the message. And then all of a sudden, we want to put everything on social media, start complaining. I don't know how do we call the president? The dictator must go. The dictator must resign. Like we see a lot of things, yeah? We just go on social media, but the campaign is going to end there. But then when we speak about young people trying to partake these leadership roles, okay, I won't say the truth is, but to a small maybe extent, someone can choose to correct me if I'm wrong, most of us are not prepared. Definitely we are not prepared. We just come with an emotional point of view. Yes, he gave an example of the youngest leaders who are in the parliament. But could you give me any scenario of her trying to submit? I don't think she has ever submitted on any issue. Yeah? But you're going to see our old people coming up to submit fearlessly. Because for them, they know exactly what they want. They are being intentional. But most of the young leaders are going to keep on pushing in parliament. They're going to reach there, but now everyone, of course, has a selfish interest. Yeah? You're going to reach there. Of course, every young people is looking at you. Now this is how we take leadership to the point of pictures. Yeah? Presentational leadership. You just want to present yourself. You've gone here, take a picture, upload, but did you make any submission? Did you make any contribution? Now, this is where most of the people, if you are not so long ago, the president had gone to pick the nomination, the current president. Yes. Most of the people were there were youth. Yeah? Most of the youth tweeted, most of the youth actually reacted other people were saying, why is this old man now coming back and all that. Like I said, we are reading the message to react, but not to debate or understand the
And give
message.
it our
So we just have
input.
to, and if we really want the young leaders to come up and also take our positions, if we want these old people to mentor us into leadership, are we willing to learn?
Oh.
Because if you go to parliament, everyone is going to run after the president or after the prime minister to take a picture and I share on my X. But I'm not going to come and, of course, people might say that it is hard for you to reach out to them and have a conversation, but we should understand that if you are intentional, there is absolutely nothing that can fail from having an interaction with them. Talk to them, ask them to mentor you, other than when you reach out, the first thing you want is, can I please have a picture with you?
Photo.
Everything is now a picture.
Okay, I'm trying to combine these thoughts and see what we are headed for in this discussion today, because a good number of you seem to agree that actually young people are coming up, yes, but are these young people prepared for what they want? Someone was asking a question that young people are not just employed, but are not ready for what they work, the jobs they want. And as we see them coming up to take up leadership, and you're giving these scenarios, because we are coming to a time when Uganda will have to decide. And for our country, our motherland, this is always a time of, I don't want to say chaos, but a time where there is a lot of confusion. And we're having most of the young people engaged at the backside of things. And this is where we see now that young people are now coming up at every point to show energy, to show power, and maybe take up these positions. Much as we all want to say that maybe they're not prepared or something. Because when you look at Museveni, our president currently, His Excellency, and the people he's having currently, and the people he's engaging, and those coming up in an old age, we see that there could be something like a shift at the end of this term, at the end of this election. And this is where we get to the next question, where we give in our thoughts. Do you really think that 2026 elections will make a shift of generational leadership and give us a new trend of leadership? Because he talks of generations now. He brings in the millennials, the alpha, the what. And I feel that like those coming in now are the Gen Zs. They're the guys now at that level who think now, I can go for it. Do you think this 2026 election will give us a shift? Maybe from the men who say we fought in the bush to the guys who came and said we had the ideas. And if you think so, why do you think so? And if not, why not that? Let's begin from where we stopped and carry it on.
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, you asked if we are going to see a shift, but we cannot deny or run away from the fact that our politics currently in Uganda are commercialized. We have the ideas, but there is no going to tell me that a graduate from a university is going to come and be ready with the money to go for these leadership positions. Yeah, and of course, we have very many ideas, very diverse, very construction ideas. But do you have the money? And this is where now we are going to start trading our integrity. Because we are going to have an old politician coming. Of course, you're going to release your flyer saying you're coming for MP. I can use my example. Let me say I come from Kisora, and I'd say I'm going to come for woman MP. Of course, they're going to start looking for me. Yeah? Do you have the money? No. Now that's how they're going to start tricking. You know what, if we start mentoring you, and you know, you never know, by the time I'm going out of my leadership, you know, tenure, you can also now step in.
Oh, so I think you talk of not leadership, but now what people can offer to buy the positions.
Exactly. This is why it's going to be hard for us to have this transitional leadership from the people who went to the bush to fight and the people who have ideas. Because the people who went to the bush to fight already are established. And these are the people who really understand the dynamics of politics.
Okay.
We've been in campus politics, but that doesn't mean that we really, really understand the dynamics of the national politics. Now this is where we trade our integrity for leadership.
Thank you. Aineplani, do you agree with how you have a different view of that?
I want to a bit disagree with Comrade Precious. Because we need to understand the narrative. What does it take for you to be ready for leadership? She's saying the people who went to the bush are the people with the right ideology. And in this case, we are saying the people who went to the bush, they had a very genuine cause, a good cause. But currently, if the current president, General Museveni, meets the Museveni of 1982, they can totally fight. They
A
are
lot
different.
has changed, of course.
A lot has changed because you'll find the other Museveni who was fighting, the vices he was fighting are the ones prevailing now. By then they went to the bush because there was corruption, election rigging. After him losing an election, it's when he went to the bush. But look on what is happening around currently. So the question is, what does it take to be ready? One, Precious is saying the young people are not ready, but she's coming up with the right ideology. And what does it take to go in parliament? One, we need to understand the roles of the legislators. It is to make laws. But it is shifting from the narrative of making laws or on the narrative of having ideology to who has the biggest handout. When you go to the village right now, you'll find people cashing out money. 2K, 3K, 5K. It is now a debate on who is bigger than the other when it comes to pockets.
In terms of cash.
It is shifting from who has the right ideology, whom am I going to send in parliament to make laws. And you know, in parliament it is different. She vitiated the factor that I had given about Honorable Proskovia. But we have people who are old in parliament. Do you want to tell me that General Moses Ali has more big to submit than I could have submitted maybe there? So does he even go for those things? And that is just a peak, and there are very many people at that age. Because when we look at the current cabinet, you find many of them are above 60. We can't mention them, beginning from the president, the prime minister, the Honorable Matia Kasaija. They are all above 60.
And that's when we talk about this shift.
So the shift now, one, we need, as I say, there is knowledge and wisdom. And a young person cannot have wisdom. Wisdom comes with age. You only have knowledge, then as you grow up, you get that wisdom. So what this country needs now is these people to sit aside and say, no, we can mentor these young people. Because they cannot mentor you when you're not driving. They cannot teach you how to drive when there is no vehicle.
Yes.
They only teach you how to drive when you knock along the way. They tell you, no, next time do this. But when you just given off the drive, the car to drive, and you have never been there, it may be another turn off along the way.
Good.
So I think we can spark it off from there.
You seem that we need to have both guiding us to where we want to be.
All guiding the young people.
Okay,
because when you wait for the young people to be ready, they will never be ready. We already have the ideology. He's the one they call the president of NUP, although I'm not sure.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
I'm not sure.
You should be sure.
He once said that we are the leaders of the future, and the future is today.
Good.
So we can't wait for that
let's
time.
go to Faye and let her give us her thoughts about this clash coming in, because by the end of this election, 2026, we need to envision something. If young people are coming up, are they coming up to wave out what we're seeing, or they are coming to fit in and continue with the narrative that is happening currently? Because if they are coming with new ideologies, or they are prepared for anything, or they want to be mentored, like he says, what do we need to see? Because at the end of it, do you think this will help us to change this whole narrative, or it will not?
So before here, I had a brief conversation with someone, and he asked me where my intellectual space is, and I said in people. And obviously the people that surround me are people my age. Now I can guarantee you that most of the people who are going for these positions, right, say our age bracket, there is something that is not, their intention is change. That's you were asking if there will be a change in the dynamics, and yes, I guarantee there will be, because of the propaganda that's spreading. We are going to have ministers. You know how when elections come, there are like two parties on the same post, and then people will rally behind a party that they think will give them change. They're not looking at the quality of the person they are putting there. They're looking at under which umbrella is this person standing. Does it make sense? So yes, the shift is going to be there, and that's where the chaos is going to erupt from. In that, the people that now we have in office, yes, they have gotten to office, but what are they going to do there? Does it make sense? We are going to have people. There was an interesting case of a minister who couldn't read, an MP, who couldn't read a written
report?
No, like she was presenting, but it wasn't even hers, the draft, but she couldn't read it out. she couldn't read out what was already written. Now that's the quality. That's the quality that is going to be ushered in after the elections. Because I stand under a certain umbrella and you believe that umbrella is of change, so now we are just voting. Oh, you know this whole narrative of since we can't take up the moon, we'll take up the stars.
Yes.
You get it? So since we know we are not going to take the moon, we're going to do what? To take stars.
And sort of that less.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Derrick, I saw you looking at her and all these people are speaking. You're like, I think I have something different. I am seeing that on your face.
Exactly.
By the end of this 2026, we are seeing, anticipating, now plans are on. I hear primaries are on the corner.
Yes,
And whenever
yes.
you passed, there was noise everywhere. And young people are involved, but also the old people are involved. This intergenerational clash that is coming, where will it leave us and what will it change?
Thank you so much, moderator. I've been listening to my colleagues. They are all against young people coming into leadership. But
Yes. We're not against it.
quote me well, quote me
Take his
well.
time.
Because I've listened to you, you're like, people are not experienced, people will not manage what. But let me tell you one thing. What will happen? What if, for God forbid, what will happen? What if something happens? And then we lose. Actually, let me give you a scenario. Most of our ministers are between 60 to 80 years, right? You can agree with me. But what I can advise our president and the entire government, please include the young leaders. Why am I saying this? People are talking of experience, but how can you get the experience without being into the field of the same thing that you want to be? Because if you want to make someone a great leader, actually, I'll give a credit to President that he enclosed his son to be the CDF of UPD. Do you know the reason as to why?
You still maintain the advice you're giving him?
Yes, I'm still maintaining.
Proceed.
Because he's bringing in the new blood, right? So the truth of the matter is, let's allow the young people, even if they don't know what to perform, even if they don't know what to do, but let them learn. Have you ever heard of a scenario that will give you a job, but you learn on the job? You learn everything on the job.
You're interning in his
Yes. So the truth of the matter is, however much we are not experienced, we are not we are not having that wisdom that my colleague have talked about, but we have ideas that can really take our country to the next level. And if we keep on telling ourselves that we young people are not ready, when will we get ready?
Okay.
Right? So it is my point of view that let our old people live for the young people to come and represent us, to see what they can do. For me, I can disagree with my colleague who has said that an MP, MP cannot read a draft. I bet you that people that will enter into the parliament, they are educated. They can read and they can design drafts to perform, right? So it's my advice, it's my request that allow the young blood, the young people, fresh minds, energized, let them come and play their politics. By the end of the term, I trust they will have improved. By the next term, you'll be the best people to represent us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Derrick. Derrick seems to say that let these young people go and intern from Parliament and learn something from there. And he believes that we cannot learn when we just watch what is happening. But also he seems to suggest that these old people who are in the system, it's time for them. If this clash is coming, then things are going to really change. I want to thank you because these important thoughts are really maybe helping us to know where this country is and the state and what this election will mean to us after this season is done. As we get into the break shortly, I want to have each one of us give a recommendation on this particular point of the intergenerational clash in these elections and this leadership. Then we'll come back and have the other side of the topic. But I want to have you people give us at least that recommendation. You feel that if we did this, then this one would solve this problem and have young people well involved, but also prepared for what they want to take up. Let's have that recommendation. Precious.
Okay, thank you so much. My recommendation is going to be embodied in a quote, which says, first make it exist, then you can perfect it later. he spoke about experience, and one thing I've seen is with our generation, we are overshooting for the stars. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. But at some point, our goals have to be smart. That's simple, measurable, attainable, etc. Yeah, we continue. So yeah, you want experience, but you want to get that experience from Parliament. Yeah, there are very many other structures, but you can start from there as you try to mentor yourself into the whole system so that you get acquainted very well. That's why if you go there and you want to get this first-hand mentorship from Parliament, it's going to be a bit hard for you because you have no experience. It's going to be hard for you to even make submissions on critical and important issues.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Aineplani, what do you think? What's your recommendation in just a minute?
Okay, thank you so much. I wanted to disagree with him when he said that even if they don't know what to do, but as long as they are young, let them. I really disagree with him. I haven't said the young people should not lead, but we are not following the age. If a person of 60 can do work better than that one of 19, the right ideology, then because Parliament is a center, it is where the laws are made. We cannot allow someone who doesn't know what to do to go there. Then we start suffering overtaxation because wrong policies are made. These policies can affect the next generations. We cannot just, because a mistake today can make even the next generations fall. So my recommendation is, let's drop the age, but rather, even the young people, those with the right ideology, come up, we shall be seeing this one has the right ideology. Because also associating yourself with the other ideology, because you want the young people in Parliament, it may also create another thing that we have to cure in the next coming time. So my recommendation is please, let's mind about who has the vision, who has the ideology, who is ready to do policies better in Parliament, not who is going to legislate, not who is going to look for cheap popularity in Parliament.
Good.
Young people, come on, take on.
Faye, what do you say? What do you recommend on this particular point?
I do agree with what Aine has said. If the person has the ideology, well and good. Age is not necessarily everything. But the thing is, with our generation, I feel like we should curate who is legible. Do you get me? Such that we don't end up in a situation as the ones in front of us, where we have everybody because of inclusivity. Like, we should have people who are responsible, people who, like, if your private life does not reflect responsibility, we shouldn't be putting you there. So yes, the young should come in, but you have to have a not clean state, but we need to see that you are quality. So the quality of who is coming in the young generation is important.
Even in the old.
Thank you.
The old is another issue. You don't correct the old.
Okay. Derrick, give it to us. What's that recommendation that you would give us?
My recommendation would be, I'm seeing all my panelists, their concentration is on Parliament. But in Parliament, that's not where leaders are. In our government, we don't have only members of Parliament, I think, right? When you're talking of the generation crash, we are meaning leaders in all structures, right? So let us not focus on one house, which is the Parliament. Let us focus even on other stakeholders like the LC5s, also where these young people can really gain that experience before going to the top deciding positions. My recommendations would be, my fellow Ugandans, let's put the vision, the ability and integrity before anything, right? No, I'll not say it before age, but before anything. Why am I saying that? My colleague talked of politics becoming commercial, right? And the truth of the matter is that with the young age, our financial capacity is not yet there to boost and then to finance those campaigns. Today, people are financing campaigns with billions of money.
That's what
right?
we want. How do we cure that? That's what we are fighting.
Let's wind up his recommendation.
Okay. Anyway, my recommendation is let's embrace these young brains to come into leadership as we figure out how we will handle what will not have worked out very well.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I've been with this amazing team, giving you these thoughts and perceptions about this intergenerational clash. I want to thank you so much for this part of the session. We will now have a short break, and we will be coming into the other part of the discussion. Thank you so much.
Digital rights are those human rights and legal rights that allow individuals to access, use, create and publish digital media or to access and use computers, other electronic devices and telecommunication networks. Digital rights include a right to freedom of expression, information and communication through technology, a right to privacy and data protection, a right to credit for personal works, a right to universal and equal digital access, a right to identity, a right to anonymity, a right to be forgotten, and a right for protection of minors, among others. The state's digital rights are frequently violated through various unfair actions, for example, blockage of websites and social networks, theft of credentials, unauthorized use of people's data for personal gain, privacy intrusion, online censorship, arrests and intimidation of online users, internet blockages, and the proliferation of laws and regulations that undermine the potential of technology to drive social, economic, and political development worldwide. It is hence every citizen's responsibility to respect rights of other digital users and to speak out or report to the responsible parties when one's rights are violated.
Thank you so much. We are back for this next session. My name is Gilbert once again, and we are having this important discussion about intergenerational clash. It's yet to another electoral season, and this important and urgent question must be asked in this political space for the youth, and looking at their capacity and what they can do. We've had the first session where we looked at these young people and what we expect after this election, and we're now back to look at the other side of this discussion. Because when we talk about leadership, it's not entirely about what we aim at looking at parliament. We believe that by the time someone stands up to come, they are showing us something within them that they have displayed either somewhere or somehow. And when we talk about the intergenerational clash, we need to really ask ourselves, do we have this divide existing in Uganda? And in this next section, we will now look into that and ask ourselves, as we talk about this intergenerational clash, is there a divide? And is there this gap that we're talking about? And if these young people are coming up, we say about preparedness and the reality of what it is, have they prepared themselves? Because when you talk about these things and people coming up, someone will question, why is so and so? And again, also in this session, we look at this, the gender inclusion of this political space and young people. Which tools have we seen being used, and which people do we see coming up more? I want to begin with the man that left us with the recommendation about what this clash could be. Because all of us have agreed that this clash is there, yes. But this divide, is it just in age? Is it just in ideology? Is it just maybe in books? Because of late, the posters are being printed. Someone puts PhD, what, in London. It's a whole CV on a poster. And I believe the young person leaving university today doesn't have all that. So what is this divide we're talking about? Does it really exist, or it's an illusion? Over to you, Derrick.
Well, thank you so much, moderator. For me, my take would be that it exists. The reasons are, we are seeing that the so-called experienced leaders, they don't want to leave the seats for the young people, right? And that's where the problem begins from. Since you've mentioned that someone will put his CV to the poster, it is an evidence to tell you that you, a university graduate, you're not eligible for this position due to the fact that you've not yet attained what I've attained so far, right? But the truth of the matter is, for me, what I want we Ugandans agree with, let's embrace the young age. Let's embrace these university graduates. I think these university graduates are also taught by those professors, right? So for me, my perspective is let them also be into the politics. They learn the game. They learn how to serve. But mostly important, we will look at the vision of what that young leader he has brought. We'll look at the ability, his capabilities, and then the other thing is the ideas, the ideology. What have you brought on the table? So that could be my take on that.
Okay. Faye, do you think this divide we are shouting on, we are talking about, does it really exist, or is something we are having in our minds and we are creating problems to speak about them? Does it really exist in your own perspective?
Yes, for a fact, there is a clear divide. There is a division. But on contrast, I don't think it is only to do with age. It's mainly to do with ideology. The young have a different ideology from the old. And some old people have the same mentality, but because the majority of the people that think a certain way are young, that's why we try to marginalize it as an age difference. But if we are to think of it this way, if I came up with my age and I put myself under, say, Party A, right? Party A's ideologies, and I support what they stand for, I would still go through on their ticket as contrasted to age. The clash begins in that the people in parliament already have a certain status quo that they want to maintain. They're not willing to loosen up and take in new ideas or new takes on things. So the clash becomes stronger. That now it started to be viewed as age. That, oh, the old people are so conservative, they do not want to change. And then the young people are seen as reckless and hot-tempered. I feel like it's just the timelines that cause the clash, because the different setting obviously gives us different ideologies on matters.
Okay. In the plan, we are looking at an election coming up, and it is 40 years after these people gave us the peace they tell us they brought, and the same league.
Don't you have peace?
The same league is bringing a good number of leaders.
Yes.
Who are also coming to say that I still have the stamina, and one would wonder, for all this time, do you also agree with the previous speakers that, to be honest, this divide exists, but only maybe in ideology or maybe in just age that we are just seeing? We should wait for a time to reach that age and also take it up. What do you say about
Thank
that?
you so much. There is no more time that we have to wait for to reach that age. Because in the country, the constitution is clear. When you have 18 years of age, you can contest. And we are living in a country that has a multi-party dispensation, whereby we have different political parties. And in the upcoming season, the fact is that we are sick. Actually, I can say some are in ICU, and we are trying to look for doctors. So we are looking for doctors to cure the mischiefs we have in the country. When I say we are sick, I don't mean these diseases, the real diseases. So we are looking for the people with the right ideology. And we need to first look for what has crippled the minds of the young people. Nelson Mandela left us with a quote that the world is as a result of our thinking. And to change the world, we must change our thinking. Because much as we are running into politics, it doesn't make sense when I find you're a young person, you're on a rally, addressing people that we are tired of old people. And it is what you're going to do. You're going to parliament because you're tired of old people. You know, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in 1986 said he had brought change, and he said the change was not going to be a mere change, but rather a fundamental change. So the line is being driven here that we, the young people, we want change. Which change are you interested in? We should be rushing for a fundamental change, but not rather a mere change. Because a mere change will bring us to what these people fought for. And we also need to appreciate the fact that we really have peace. That one, we have peace. And you know, in a country, you cannot perfectly have peace. And there is no country where there is stability at 100. It cannot be there.
Perfect peace.
But when you go in areas of, some areas in southwestern Uganda or anywhere, you find you were born, some have never heard of the sound of a gun.
Okay.
You personally, you've never heard the sound
I've heard it, I can assure you, but let's get to
a bomb. Okay.
Let's
So
get
before Precious comes in, my take is still on the right vision ideology. If we can sell out
That's where the
ourselves
divide is.
with the young people, it's about selling ourselves, not in the line of money. We are not looking, it is not a competition, it is not a show of the tycoons who has more money than the other, but rather a show of who has the right ideology, who is going to represent people, not who has the most capacity financially to give out to the people. So let's divert our minds, don't look on handouts, but rather on the vision and the right ideology the person you're going to vote has.
Okay.
That's right.
Precious, after listening to all these people, tell us how this divide is. Do you really see the divide, or it's actually disappearing?
Okay, once again, thank you so much. And I won't differ much from what has been shared, but in my own perspective, with my own root cause analysis that I used, the divide, of course, is there. And it comes in with character, the person's character. Because your character eventually speaks a lot about you. And now your character is always attached to the ideologies, to the ideas that you bring on table. So where we're having the clash is my own character is completely different from the people of those who went to the bush to fight. And most of these people are the ones we are seeing as old people, yeah? So the way I perceive things is going to be different from the way they perceive things. We are going to have a national issue, but if we want ideas from both the old, and you bring an old person and someone of my generation in an office, in a room to actually debate about certain issues, you're going to find that our ideas are varying completely different. So now, because I want my idea to be taken into and also be looked into, I'm going to bring out my character, yeah? So this is where you're going to find we are clashing, because I want to be heard, you want to be heard. We want to be seen as the fundamentals of change. Like the way you said, the president, when he was fighting and all that, when he was done, he said that change is going to be fundamental. But in his own perspective, he has his own direction in which he can see that this change is actually going to be fundamental in the lives of the youth. But what we want as the youth is not exactly what he sees that is best for us. So because of this difference in age gap and also different things you've seen while we are growing, some people grew up by the sound of the gun. You wake up, we have guns and all that, so you're going to find your character is actually going to be a hard one. But for some of us who have grown up without, like you said,
You've never had
I've never, like, sound of the gun, no. You're not going to hear any riot in Western Uganda. You are not.
Okay.
So because of that, you're going to find we are going to keep clashing on several issues. So the clash is there, but it can be worked on.
Thank you. We are having this discussion, and it's very interesting how young people are actually identifying this clash, giving solutions and telling us what can really be done. Now, as we get into this other round of this, maybe having this to talk about this issue, it is a disservice for us to leave this show without talking about actually the real cause and the problem, because in my mind, I feel like every nation, and they say that any empire can rise because of leadership, and an empire can fall because of leadership. When we said we are talking about the 2026 election, our minds, our speaking, talked a lot about politics. And we want to look at this election, maybe young people and old people, because I think what we need, all of you are talking about a fundamental change, are talking about changing things, about ideology. We are thinking about a transformational leadership structure that will come into the country and maybe change things for the better. When you guys describe, you seem to tell us that we are having a transactional kind of leadership. I've gone through a forum which trains about leadership, and they keep asking us this question: who do you think a leader is, and what's a leader, and what's leadership about? And I think today we need to really live, when we have clearly told ourselves, is Uganda into a leadership crisis? Because if we talk about the commercialization of elections, that won't give us leaders. Instead, it will give us transactional leaders. So are we in a crisis as Uganda? Because you say young people who have maybe ideas don't have the money to buy the buyers.
Yes.
And the old people who have the money don't have the ideas to take our country forward. So as we talk to this particular point, do we really see that Uganda is in a leadership crisis because the people involved don't have these ideas, or Uganda is already there? It's young people who are just angry and impatient for what they want. I want to begin from the person in the middle, and that is Faye.
This is the middle.
It's
What do you expect?
the lady in the middle.
Yeah, the lady in the middle.
Yes, so yes, we are in a crisis, when you put it that way. When you put it in the way of, for our definition of a leader is who can buy the voters. That puts us in a crisis. But the people in leadership are not bad leaders per se. It's just the way the system is structured, the way the politics are, that make it seem like we are in a crisis. Because if I know the definition of a leader is who can buy voters, during my tenure, I am going to focus at making money. So I will put aside what actually, because what took me there was what? Was money. I came by money, so my main aim is going to be making more money, such that I have the capacity and capability of there was an MP who was, when campaigning for the second time, who was like, you add me, I eat again. Do you get? So the whole point is we are in a crisis because of the way the politics are designed.
Okay. She appreciates that we are in a crisis, and she tells us that this crisis actually people are getting something to get there, and what keeps them there is the money. Some of them are even now gathering it to come and give it to us and give them the votes. Let me get on with this side. Derrick, do you appreciate this crisis existing, or for you this is something we are just lying the country about?
The truth of the matter is the crisis exists due to the fact that we commercialized our politics. People are going to banks to put their houses as collateral to secure billions of money to come and invest into the what? Into politics. I'll assure you 100% that someone will go into parliament just to get his money back and to rescue his house. Do you agree with me? So he will put less focus on legislating, actually he will put less focus on making us policies that are favoring us, but instead he will make policies that are going to make him save his house at home and save his status quo, right? So people, the crisis exists due to the fact that people are buying voters. People are buying votes, and the truth of the matter is that as economics tells us that if you put in something, like you've invested in something, you want it out with the returns, right? So that's why people are in parliament, are pocketing 100 millions, are pocketing 200 million, right, to come back to cater for the debts that they accumulated during the what? During campaigns. So my advice is, actually that's the reason as to why we are saying that our members of parliament are just as if they're statues in parliament, right? They're just there to raise hands, making things pass, but after all they come to us in the villages complaining that you people, you elected NLM people, they're the majority in the parliament, they're doing nothing, right and what? But the truth of the matter is 100% of the MPs in Ugandan parliament, their focus is on money, and that's what brings a crisis in our country.
Yes. What I get is that the crisis exists, and in most especially it's on money. That's where the crisis is. So it's just we are transacting now. We have transaction leaders who are coming to buy. They come here, do some selling, make some profit, come back when they are better. Precious, what do you say of that?
About the crisis?
Yes.
Okay, so you see English has tricked us to believe that everything has two extents, the small extent and the large extent. But in this case, our crisis has no extent. It is just a crisis. We have it, and of course, the previous speakers have addressed the issue of commercialization of politics and also our structures, of the leadership. But also us, of course, I understand. But at some point, we should be the same people to hold our leaders accountable. But how am I going to come and hold you accountable? Yet when I was voting for you initially, I just wanted money. So we should be intentional as voters. This also comes down to you, the voter, not only the leaders whom we are actually voting for. I know it might be hard to resist because Uganda has a lot of problems and they will never end. That's the truth. The problems will never end. So we just have to learn on how to hold our leaders accountable in the end. And also our leaders, they have understood the dynamics of the voters, especially in the village. they've said, I'm going to put money to go to parliament, and of course the first thing I'm going to do is to first see how I can get back my money. Yeah. So now if I see that it's almost a time of election, I'm going to come back, buy for you ambulances, but I'm going to put my picture every time as a marketing strategy, every time.
Okay.
So now this is going to be like a trend. It has actually become a trend. And now this takes us back to our government. Yeah. Why is it hard for the government to provide ambulances to the facilities? Now there we go to corruption, then we talk about the budget. Like the whole thing, the whole system is rigged.
Okay.
So we just have to come up as the voters and actually now start owning the politics. It's not all about the leaders, but now us as the voters, how best can we own, how best can we stand up to these political giants?
Well, the crisis exists, but it's
Very
coming
much.
from the electorates themselves.
Exactly.
Because when the season comes, they ask for something. Aineplani, we are looking at something, and most of the people on this panel, I haven't given my side, but I'm saying most, agree that this crisis exists. And she gives us another side that actually the problem is the electorates themselves. When someone comes, they're asking for money. Maybe if you just agree, we can get to something better. Is it the electorates, the voters, or it is the leaders we are lacking? What are we missing in this crisis? Are we missing the leaders to vote, or we are missing the right people to vote the right leaders?
Thank you so much. In the beginning, I looked on the demography of the country, where we have many of the population being young people. Actually, 77 to make it right, 77, around the approximately 77, 78. They're young people. We need to know who is a leader. A leader is, it may not be purposely a person who does things, but can be a person who empowers other people to make things happen. I cannot categorically say we are in a crisis of leaders in the country. We are not. Actually, we have good leaders in the country. Even you can be a good leader. When you see us here at Kampala International University, we have more than 10,000 students. It is almost equivalent to a constituency, actually bigger than some of the constituencies we have in the country. So the problem is not a crisis of leaders. When you generalize a crisis of leaders, it means we do not have better leaders in the country. We actually have good leaders with the right ideology, but they do not have the authority and the power to put their policies right on the forefront. So the problem is not about leaders, the problem is with the voters. There are people in the field outside there, but what are we looking on? And my focus is now on advocacy versus action. With the young people, we should all be advocating for a free and fair election that does not involve commercializing politics. Look on the person you are voting, not rather the money. Because when you look on the money, that person has bought you. And when he goes to parliament, it means he has to look for the money he gave you. So you imagine selling your constituents, selling the whole of your district for an exchange of a bar of soap, for salt, for a matchbox, a t-shirt and a cap. And you're free to go. You're saying, yes, me am contented with what you have given me. And also we need to look on the other balance of the Ugandans we have, because we still have many problems, especially corruption. Because you find, I think the whole system is crippled in a way that these people would have been whipped out, but we do not have the people to whip them out because of corruption. And then the level of poverty also, it doesn't allow these other commoners to desist from taking that money. But my advice is take that money, but vote
The right
for the
people.
right.
Okay, that advice, I think they are listening. Now, we are looking at this political space of our country, discussing this critical matter about leadership, and we're even getting to involvement and inclusivity. And that takes me to something that I want to push to the ladies on this panel. This country has even made, ever since we had affirmative action, we even have the women member of parliament, we have the national female MP, we have at every sector, the gender something. We are fighting so that women are included in everything. And there seems to be another shift of things, that when it comes to women, we are voting posters. When it comes to women, we are voting the beauty. When it comes, and this has become a challenge, that even the women who are voting are not representing the interests of the people. Now I want to talk about representation and then also just voting people. The women on the panel, on this panel, the ladies, I don't want to call you women, I mean to be penalized. It's not about age, it's about gender.
Right.
Do you feel that we have more challenges with women and therefore should continue advocating for this thing of having a fair share or have women involved, or you feel there are more challenges women are facing, not just being brought forward, but there are more to do in case as far as this political space of the country is concerned? Let's begin with Precious. You are near me. I like the hanging fruits.
It's okay. It's okay. Thank you so much. That's a nice one. So I'll take this back. You asked if we are having other issues of women other than inclusivity and all that. And also you brought up the point of where we are voting for that physical representation of someone. Are you brown? Or, you know, like funny things that we actually take into consideration. Yeah. So this takes me to, of recent, there was a debate for the contenders of national female youth MPs, yeah? So one person asked, before we go far, who is the current? Yeah? Who is the current?
They don't know even the current.
They don't know the current. They're asking, what do they do? Wait, is there a national male? So you see, like, people, first of all, are confused, yeah? So this shows that they have not done much. If you go to the village down and ask, do you even know if this thing even exists? People are not informed. But at some point, of course, you can blame maybe the people who are not informed for not speaking interest. But how do they get this information? Is the information disseminated by the Electoral Commission? No. We be there, we hear. Actually, some people were thinking that all ladies who have 18 years and above who are in the voters register are the voters of these women MPs. Yeah? But in actual sense, it is a college vote. So we even don't know the people who vote for them. So there is no way you're going to come and ask for accountability. You're a woman, you have pressing issues, and you're going to ask for accountability from a female youth MP. You do not know how they went into power. You do not know what they do. You've actually even never heard of them. Because initially when the elections are done, most of them, they want to stay in the central region. They do not want to move around the country and find out the issues. So this shows that we have been represented, right? But are our issues being heard? Is there inclusivity? No. The people are voting for who they know most. Who is giving us more money? Who is buying these delegates from districts? Yeah. So this is where we are going to find very many issues are not being represented in the parliament, and you'll find we are moving in the same circle all over and over. So there is no representation.
Thank you so much, Precious. I want to go to Faye. She was looking at you. I don't know what was running in the discussion.
Is for only ladies?
Yes.
I'm coming to the gentleman because I have something that will draw from this. What do you have to say about this? Do you still think that these problems still exist even if we have these other posts existing, or there's something? Because why I'm bringing up this, we have inclusivity, and I'll bring it to some, when we talk about the clash, of course they bring in these posts to make us included, youth MP, female youth, and what. This is where they want to bridge this gap. But do you feel these challenges, especially when it comes to gender and maybe ladies and women, are these challenges solved?
I don't think so. I like the word propaganda, but like you said, there are so many female posts, or like they want to include females, not to deal with their issues, but rather not to cause
chaos.
Yes, yes. So it's more of how we are seated here, and me and Precious are here simply to show that, oh, we are a mixed society, we do not discriminate against women. But every time but like when we are talking about issues like, the price of men clothes is high, forgetting that, me and Precious actually also have issues that deal with our gender. But every time we meet, it's like, Casta, you're here, people won't think we are
discriminating.
Yes.
Okay. So now, Aineplani was asking me, why is this discussion for ladies? Why I brought it that way? It's because I know the district where, honestly, an election was held, and we're talking about this intergenerational clash.
Yes.
And because the young lady came up, she had a very good poster, she was very beautiful, she could maybe go around and give some hugs around. And there was this old woman, much as she was brilliant, having ideas to have done something tangible, there was nothing she could do about this. And this is where I come to just ask this question. Do we have this advantage because of the energy and physique that we present, not because of the ideas? What is moving us to cause these problems?
Okay. I want to first appreciate the fact that now at least we have the inclusivity in the government, because the Prime Minister is a lady, the Vice President is a lady, and the Speaker of Parliament is a lady. And in most instances, we've seen the Speaker of Parliament authoritatively dealing with the male gender. So that means that there is no that segregation that was there before. At least there is that inclusivity right now. And two, about that, if we vote for beauty, of course, when she reaches there, she will maintain, she will make sure, she will focus on beautifying herself the more, because she's coming for the next round. So my interest is in the outcomes. What are you doing when you reach there? The representation. And also we need, while we are looking for votes, especially those who are in the field outside there looking for votes, the issue shouldn't be on monetary issues. No. And if a person has been there, the only interest should be, what have you brought on table that you are coming for the second round? First, tell us what you did, basing on your manifesto. You realize these days people go to campaign without manifestos, because they are going to tell people, I am a son of this and this. My dad is this one and this one. So we should be looking on the who has the right ideology and who is going to do things better when he or she reaches there. It is not a ratio maybe that this one should be for women, then that here a man can do it well. No. Even women can do things better than men, and men can equally move the same in the field. Okay. As long as the ideology is right. And maybe also, before you switch on, to sensitize the people in the field, should tell people the roles of the legislators. Because people do not know what legislators should be doing. Legislators have an oversight role, but who goes to discuss that issue? They should go to the village and know this is happening and go back to Parliament to give the same report.
Thank you so much, Aineplani. I see Derrick looking at you. He wants to say something about the same issue. I don't know what he really wants to say, but Derrick, I'm just you could just react on this, and then I can just tell us if you see these things happening. Because why I put to the ladies first is because when we talk about leadership, it's been people saying that men are taking over, are taking the lead. We ladies also have issues, and my mind is, now that we have included them, are their challenges solved? Are people just voting the ladies because of how they look, or they are voting ladies because of how they are? It happens in men, but in some other way. I want you to now, for this discussion, I want you to talk about it in a way that, are we just voting the physique, or are we voting these people because of the ideology? And now that they are there, are their problems solved?
I will start with appreciating, as my colleague has said, appreciating the natural law, that really God was very wise to make a man to be a leading subject, right? So these women should not complain a lot. Due to the fact that, and then we want to thank our government that he has really worked on what we call inclusivity. We are seeing a lot of women in the government, in these government ministries. They are really permanent secretaries. There are very many in those deciding what? Deciding positions. For me, what I could blame, I think I could blame the ladies themselves. Why are you not representing yourselves, right? You've been given a chance and then you're still complaining. So should we call it a complaining game, right? You should not complain because the platform has been given to you to represent your interests, to represent your complaints, but still you're complaining. For me, I would just want to thank the government that he has really worked on what we call inclusivity. Like, women are included in everything, by the way. And nowadays they are becoming, and that's why we face challenges. Becoming
what? Complete that? So we'd love to hear that.
For matters of security, I'll just leave it.
Thank you.
Yes. But the truth of the matter is that the women should just appreciate that they are really represented. So if they fail, it will be their fault.
That
Thank
could
you so
be
much,
nice.
Derrick.
Maybe a bit after him, it is different.
minute?
Yes, it is different to have a position. Having a position, you can have a position without power, and you can have power
Right.
without authority.
That's
is
what
a
I was
discussion for
explaining.
another.
Okay, all the ladies are saying yes, so they have to say. So there's nothing we're going to add on what Derrick has said. But as we wind up this discussion, I want us to all have a time and a minute. And looking at, because all of us have been talking about, I'm just realizing something, that whatever discussion I channeled this show to, we all came back at something similar to what we had talked about. If someone was talking about ideology, they still came back to ideology. If someone was talking about unpreparedness, they still came back to that. If someone was mentioning to us about how maybe people are just a problem with themselves, they still came back to that. And I just want us to have this conclusion and say, in a sentence, maybe one or two, what would you think is your call to action for this particular scenario or crisis that we have and the clash? I want to, it's not that she bribed me, but want for the right order, in no particular order. I want to say that we can begin with Precious and then take it on like that.
It's okay. Thank you so much for also giving me an opportunity to be the first to make my final submission. So my call to action, going back to our topic, it's, of course we have a generational clash, but it's not all about age. Like we've discussed more, it's all about who has the ideologies, what are you bringing on table, are you informed, are you making informed decisions? So it takes me to the electoral commission of the country, yeah? As we go into 2026, can we have, like you said, roles of the legislators published outside there so that everyone can see? This is Gen Z. We work more on media. We are always on phones 24/7. Is it okay for you to disable the communication? And also let everyone know how a legislator is, what they do in parliament, and what it takes for one to be a legislator. And also, these things about youth structures, they should always be publicized outside. And actually there is a complaint, though that's for another day, on how most of these things, they are mostly favoring ladies of who are subscribing to the ruling party. Like I said, that's a story for the next time, for the youth structures. So as the voters, we should be more informed, be intentional with the people we are casting the vote for, the people we are sending, because it's going to be easy for us to get accountability out of them. With that, thank you so much for watching the show. My name is Nkurunziza Precious, a year 2 student at Makerere University, and pursuing a bachelor's degree in information systems and technology, serving as the Deputy Prime Minister in the 91st government.
Thank you. Let's go to the man who has the plan.
Okay, thank you so much. As we wind up the show, my call to action, of course, I have to advocate for a vote for no money, and a vote for that knows no color, a vote that knows no religion, a vote that knows no tribe, a vote that knows no clan. We should vote genuinely. Let's vote for the right people with the right ideologies, people with integrity, reputation. Let's at least have a balance of the qualities of the people we need, not looking on the handbags and whatever cash they are carrying. Let's look on what are they going to do when they reach there in parliament. And we should get more much interested in knowing the results. These people told us this when they were going. Did they fulfill? If they did not fulfill, we have no reason to send them back. And I again say, the young people who are there and they feel they have the vigor to take the mantle on, let them come in the field. We shall say, you have the right ideology and you are good to represent us. We shall not mind about whether you have money or not. We have the largest number of, the largest population in the country. Let's not undermine ourselves. I don't know why they always categorize us among the special interest groups, yet we form the majority in the whole country. It will be another topic maybe for another day.
Yes.
So let's delve into the field of politics, but let us recall and not forget that we have to be peaceful in whatever we do. Young people, let us not be misled. Actually, let us not be used. To the worst, use those people who are coming to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Maybe for purposes of record, I remain Aineplani Major, a law student at Kampala International University, the 21st Guild President, And I am an advocate for patriotism and Pan-Africanism. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, Faye.
I want to agree with Aine. Let us not have votes for money, color, or the assorted. Like, let us vote people that are intentional. And to add on that, I would recommend that we, the youth, the leaders of today, which is the leaders of tomorrow, which is today. Yes. I would recommend that we be intentional about ourselves, like intentional about your growth, intentional about what you do, where you choose to be, because we can't keep complaining that, oh, the grown-up people, the old people do not want to leave power, yet we ourselves are not doing any active steps. So my call would be, take active steps. You're the leader of tomorrow. Take active, like, educate yourself, know what a legislator does, be a good voter, and don't avoid voting. Don't be like, oh, what's the point? It's your right. Go for it. My name is Abigaba, a student at Uganda Christian University. Thank you.
Yes, Derrick, they say he who laughs last laughs best, and we are giving you that opportunity.
Thank you so much for that opportunity. For me, I would just give this advice to the young people. We are here clashing on age, but my advice to you is, let's get into those shoes, let's get prepared, let's get surprised. These the so-called experienced leaders with a lot of experience, with a lot of preparedness. We see that we can really take our country forward. The fact remains that Uganda will still move on 100 years from now. So it is our time. Let us show interest and then take up these positions. In case the chance comes in, please take it. And then it is my advice to the government, please include us, the youth, into the cabinet ministers. We should be cabinet ministers. Yes, we represent. I can even work as the Minister of Internal Affairs. I can work very well. So that is the matter. Let's include these young brains into the system. They know how to run things, how to make decisions, how to work on things. So that's all. Okay. But what I could suggest is, let's allow the young age to get involved into the active politics in order to bring in fresh ideas and then motivate as well as bring in innovative ideas. I remain Derrick Mwanje, a third-year student at Internationnal University. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Derrick. Today it's been an amazing show together with the brains here, the gallant men and women I'm having. They did justice to the topic, and to all our dear viewers, want to thank you so much. We've been having Derrick, Faye, Major and Precious, and me, Gilbert, your host, who was moderating this session. I want to thank you so much. See you next time at the same place, probably with the same faces or different faces. But thank you so much for being on the show. We love you, and thank you so much for being on Civic Space TV. Thank you.